Hello everyone, Jason here, and I'm doing the Model of the Week review, and I guess this week it should be Models of the Week review. I'm talking about the Convergence Battle Box, and let me preface this with I don't have a lot of experience with this. I've read up a little bit. I'm sure there are others that could give you more specifics about Convergence. I'm going to give you my initial impressions as a long-time War Machine and Forge player. The battle box is pretty solid. I think that Convergence is going to only get stronger, obviously, with the more models that are released. Right now, they're all vectors, and they only have one kit available. The Warcaster Syntherion that comes with him. I play Mercs and I used to play War Machine. To me, he's Broadside's Bart and Amon Adraza sort of smooshed together. And when you factor in the Prime Axiom and all these cheap vectors together, he's going to be really scary. And once they get the models to put together into that, because he has Synergy and Hotshot, it's just going to be crazy good. If you don't know, Hotshot is boosted attack and damage rolls, or boosted attack rolls, and Synergy is for every model in a battle group that hits, it gets +1. The next vector or warjack in Minos situation gets +1/+1 to hit and to damage in melee. So, I mean, I've seen crazy lists with like all diffusers, like 18 diffusers, because they're like 3 points or something like that. So if you can imagine, I think they start off at PNS7, so they can get up crazy high, but that's silly, of course. I would feel like nothing but assimilators, which have Weapon Master, PNS14, and Ground Pounder if you wanted to deal with infantry. That could be crazy good. The Light Jacks, you'll have to excuse me, I don't have these based. As you can tell, I painted so many armies, I'm kind of sick of. I've actually primed these in Krylon Primer Plus Silver, and it's saved me a ton of time because I'm sort of over painting things, and I'm never going to win a painting competition anyway, so whatevs. But it saved me a ton of time, and I painted this entire battle box in like 6 to 8 hours or something like that. The Light Jacks, I don't really care for the look, but this is a galvanizer. It's the repair jack, and it seems like every time that I've tried to repair something, I've failed the repair check. It's also got crit grievous wounds and a power 12 attack. I guess that's handy in a pinch. It's cheap, really cheap, so I could see where they'd have their usefulness, but everything in Cyriss seems to have a repair ability, and he has Field Marshal repair. So, to me, I already don't like the Jack just for the simple fact that I failed on my repair checks. This guy has a 3-inch AoE that has puncture, so even if it deviates, it's doing 1 point of damage to everything underneath the AoE. And also, if it directly hits, it knocks down everything in the AoE. It's got a short range, though, but it really throws off people's plans. I've knocked down heavy Warbeasts, heavy Jacks, and even a Warcaster with it, so I've had some fun with him. The attack, though, the melee attack on him is really low. And what's really, comes to the heavy vector here, which is the Cypher, and to me, most of the heavy vectors are a sort of a jack of all trades. Now, obviously, there's the inverter, which is, I'm going to hit you really hard until you die. But a lot of the jacks across the board are relatively inexpensive, and they have a lot of uses to them. And the Cypher is a rate of fire 2, has a 4-inch AoE, and there's 3 firing modes. One is everything takes blast damage, it's a POW 6, which is okay. One is a rough terrain template that gets thrown out, and another one is flare. So even if it deviates, you can lower the defense, which is something that I've found that Cyriss wants to do, whether it's through the Cypher or the attunement servitors, which are the little drone pods that go around. They also have a flare that they can shoot out. Cyriss doesn't, other than obviously the synergy here or knockdown, they really need a mat buff. So flares are how they get it done, and it's really helpful. And his feat gives all your Jack's weapon platforms so you can charge in, shoot your flare in melee, and continue to pound people. His melee attacks actually are pretty good. Pianist 18, 2 initials. So I really find that the Cypher is a good all-around heavy vector. So all in all, I've been reading through the models, and it appears like they got an answer for everything. It's just, they all have to work like it's a clockwork faction. So everything has to work together in order for it to pull off their response. Or if there's a problem that the opponent brings, they have the answer for it, but everything has to come off without a hitch. So that being said, should be a really interesting faction to play, and I can't wait for some of the other models to come out. I think October was the month that really you can start feeling a 50-point list that didn't have all the answers, but something that was interesting. You have a tar pit, and there's another unit that has spray with clear on it. So things start becoming more interesting around then, and then their arc node 1-point solo comes out then. That's field allowance 4, which is fantastic. And Syntherion really wants an arc node because he has magnetic hold, and if you don't know what that does, it's an amazing spell that gives anything that has the construct plus 2 inches to charge if it lands on an enemy model. It also lowers the enemy model's defense by 2. So an amazing spell. He also has Hot Shot that I said before. He has his other useful spells. Synergy you want to get up right away, and Reconstruct is an amazing ability. So he has auto repair as a field marshal ability, so during your control phase every one of your damage vectors are healing D3. This guy heals D6 if he can ever pass his check, and Reconstruct, if you have an opponent that boxes one of your vectors, say your heavy vector here, you put him out front, and somebody pulled some shenanigans and boxed him. Reconstruct says that if all the damage boxes, he's completely destroyed, put him within 3 inches of where he was at, and then take a damaged box away from each one of his damaged aspects, or systems in this case. So it's amazing. I mean, I can really see that once this guy and so many other repair guys come out, that Syntherian's army is just going to heal itself better than even Horde's armies are. So like I said, really interesting. Looking forward to the other pieces, and if you got the extra cash, I would highly suggest it. They're really fun. So that's my model review, and I hope you liked it.